Okay, this is our Excel project number 3. In this project, we're dealing with two stocks. One stock is Amazon, and another stock is Microsoft. These are both pretty hot stocks. They're both popular companies in the United States, with a lot of people liking them. And the data here is the real data. So you see the stock prices for each different month from 2012 all the way to 2014. And these prices are all in dollar amount. And what I'm going to ask you is to form a portfolio. And of course, your portfolio is going to be composed of these two stocks. And then you are going to assign the proper weight, okay, the optimized weight to the portfolio, so your portfolio could have the best risk and return combination. So that's our subject here, okay? And to do that, I have listed here in the instruction page, you need to first calculate the annual returns for the two stocks, because what you have here are stock prices in dollar figure. It's not return in percentage. And second, you can start, okay, the second step here says you can start with the equal weights for two stocks and calculate your portfolio return, standard deviation, and coefficient variation. Okay, so you start with 50-50% on each of Amazon and Microsoft, and then get all the factors calculated. And the third step, which is the very most important step, is to use the solver function to get the optimized weight. So you start with 50-50 on each, but you may end up with some other weights combination for your optimal portfolio. This combination could yield like a 33.52, and the other is 100% minus whatever that is. Okay, so first we do this. We create Amazon's return column, okay? And then we also do the same thing for Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft return. Well, knowing how to calculate a return based on prices is a requirement for my class. In your exam, I will not give you that formula, even though I will ask you to solve for it, but that formula will not appear on the formula sheet. And previously, we have learned this, that if you have two prices, you're going to use the new price minus the old price, okay, the price difference divided by the old price. Okay, that's our formula. Or you can simply put the later price minus the earlier price, okay, the price difference divided by earlier price. Okay, so that's how you can remember it. And if you put into the calculation, you can take a look right here. For Amazon, the old price, for example, right here, it's the price on September, which is $322, and the new price is $313. Okay, so this is what we do. We use the new price or the later price minus the old price or the earlier price. Okay, don't forget the parentheses to get the price difference first, and then you use the price difference divided by the old price. Okay, and that's your percentage. So you get a negative 2.8%. So that's a 2.8% loss. Okay, so you can trim the number a little bit. You can use a percentage style and show a little bit more decimal right here to make it look nicer. And some people may make that mistake. First of all, they may use the old price minus the new price, okay? And this is wrong, okay? You don't want to do that. And another mistake is at the denominator of the formula, they use new price, okay, instead of old price. This is another error, okay? Even though the formula is pretty easy, there are two possible mistakes you can make utilizing the formula. Once again, if you have something like this, you always remember to use the new price, okay, the calendar time, the later price, okay, right here you see September and October of 2014, and of course we know 2014 October is the later price, okay, the later one minus the earlier one, okay, and remember the denominator is the earlier price, okay. That's how we get Amazon's return. So what is cool about Excel is after you get done with one number, okay, one cell here, you can just drag it, okay, drag it all the way to the right, okay. So you see the Microsoft return is automatically calculated for you. Again, is the old price, the new price, October's price minus the September's price. You see the price difference. Don't forget the parentheses divided by the September price, which is the earlier price, okay? And then you can just drag it all the way down or just double click, okay? Let me undo it. So what I did here is I highlight these two and I move my mouse right down here. You see when my mouse changed to a black cross, that's when I can double click, okay? And then the whole column return is generated. And you may notice that I got some invalid output right here. It's because when I drag it down or I double click or whatever I did to replicate the formula is indeed replicated right here. The thing is the reference cells also shifted down. If I shift that down, you will see the cell I utilize here, B34, is essentially 0. There's no value of it. And if you use B34, which is 0, as a denominator, of course, you're going to get an invalid answer. So just to do me a favor, delete these two cells. Okay, so that's basically step number 1 in your project. And for step number 2, you're going to get a portfolio return. Okay, you see this may be a little bit long, and I can wrap the text, okay, and wrap text, okay, to make it the width of the column look proper. And for portfolio return, it says you can assign equal weights right here. So let me just put right here weight A, that is 50%, okay, and weight B is 50% as well. Okay, so that's called equal weight. And then I'm going to use the return of each stock multiplied by the weight of each stock, okay, plus the return of another stock times the weight of another stock, okay. So I got a product of a return and weights for each of the stock, then sum them up. And wow, that's a big number. So I only need to decrease the decimal, yeah, to make it look nicer. And I may not in a hurry to drag it down, because if drag it down, it may not be the right answer. Just to show you, if I drag it down, it's wrong. What you see here is if I drag it down, you see the weights reference cells are also shifted. And I do not want them to be shifted. I want them to always stay right here and right here. Okay, but if they are shifted down, and that's every cell with no values, then I wouldn't get any correct returns for the portfolio. So what I do here is I'm going to lock down that cell for weight, so I can just manually type in $ in front of the letter and the number for the reference cell of the weights, okay? Or I can just click anywhere around or in the reference cell of the weights and click hotkey F4, okay? Hotkey F4. So F4 is on the very top of your keyboard, okay? You won't miss it, okay? So F4 right here, that would do as well. Okay, and then I can drag it down. Okay, I can drag it down. I'll double click. So what you see here is delete the last one. Okay, so what you see here is a portfolio return. Let me verify them. Just to go right here for May 2014. You see I use Amazon's return times Amazon's weight, and I use Microsoft's return times Microsoft's weight. Okay, so just undo it, and then same here, and same here. So I keep using the same return. or you can do this. You can put the weight of Amazon and the weight of Microsoft. If you prefer, or weight A, weight B, it does not matter. Okay. And then after you get your column for the portfolio returns, you need to get the expected return for the portfolio and the standard deviation and coefficient variation. So now this is the outlook of our table. Okay, you see all the numbers are filled in here. And I want to get the expected return for the portfolio. And let me just do it right here. Okay, so the expected return. And for the moment, I'm not just doing it for only one portfolio, but also I do it for the stock of Amazon and the Microsoft. So to get the expected return, let me zoom in a little bit. The formula is pretty easy. You just get an average. That's it. Okay, just get average. That's it. And then you select all the returns the portfolio has. Okay, hit enter. That's it. So the expected return portfolio is 1.55% per month. And you can also drag it to the left. Okay, and get the expected return of Amazon, the expected return of Microsoft. You see, the portfolio return 1.55 is just right in the middle of a 1.66, the return for Amazon, and 1.44, the return for Microsoft. So when you assign 50% weights on each, the portfolio return is exactly in the middle of the two returns of the individual stocks. Okay, the next job is to get standard deviation. For the time being, I just use abbreviation, standard deviation, and that's also pretty easy to get. You got STDEV, and that's it. Okay, STDEV, that's the formula of Excel to get standard deviation. And then you select all the returns, not prices, but returns, and then hit enter. And the standard deviation should be in the format of, okay, and then you can drag it all the way to the right. As you can see here, although the return of the portfolio is kind of in the middle, okay, it's in the middle between Microsoft and Amazon, the individual stocks, but the risk represented by the standard deviation is lower than any of these two stocks. Do you see that? The risk for Amazon is 7.08 and risk for Microsoft is 5.07, okay?